And with the third pick, as you know by now, and if you guys should follow me on Twitter. You guys really should follow the podcast on Twitter, because the 49ers selected, they made the right choice, and hopefully it turns out that way. They selected Trey Lance from North Dakota State, and I was so excited. I was so thankful that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch finally made a good decision in the draft. And, I mean, yes, they made good choices with Nick Bosa and George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. But this was the pick that they really needed to nail, and they made the right decision. So all that media hype that everyone bought in to this Mac Jones bullcrap. Now, this is no disrespect to Mac Jones, but everyone was made into idiots on that night the moment Trey Lance went to the 49ers. So Lynch and Shanahan finally took a quarterback that was more adapted to today's NFL. They passed on Deshaun Watson. They passed on Patrick Mahomes in 2017. And all of those years led up to this. Now, if you watch this film, again, he's a very gifted passer. He can threaten the defense with both all-range passes and running. His running game, he runs when necessary. When the pocket breaks down, he will run that ball. But again, there are some concerns. He's kind of raw. Actually, he is very raw. He hasn't played a lot of tough competition, but he does take care of the football. The 49ers, though, and I'm going to keep going on about this, if there are more developments in the offseason, I think they will have to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. For as much as I rag on about him, I think he is a really good guy. He really is a good human being. I mean, as much as I rag on about him about the player, because again, Trey has good upside, but I think he needs a quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, not just from a player's perspective, but from a human's perspective. You know, the person Jimmy Garoppolo, that Trey Lance can be kind of like a aid to, like kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo can be a mentor to this coming season. So Kyle needs to do everything he can to get Trey Lance ready. He needs to get him ingrained into that very complex playbook. So it's a gamble for the 49ers, but once Trey Lance gets onto the field, whenever that is, I don't know if it'll be this season. It depends on how Jimmy Garoppolo does and whatever else happens, whether that's poor play or another injury. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with this pick. I see a lot of upside in Trey Lance, but then it also comes with a lot of risk. You don't know how he's going to do at the pro level. But if there are preseason games, I think there are three preseason games. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the sample that you'll see out of Trey Lance in those preseason games and whatever games that he will do, like mop up, if there is any chance that he gets to do that, we will know if that gamble will pay off. And if it does, then the 49ers offense will be a really dominant force again. But if not, then all we can say is that it didn't pay off. The Niners threw away 3 first-round picks to the Miami Dolphins. And, well, we took a gamble. It didn't work. And we'll have to try again. But in the end, I'm happy with this pick. I know a lot of people are happy with this pick. I know some people want Mac Jones, but it's whatever. It's in the past. All we can hope for the best is wish the best for both guys to succeed in this league.
Later.
The San Francisco 49ers. Yes. Why is my team kind of a winner / loser? Like, why? What questions could I possibly have for my own team? Again, I admit I marked out when the Niners completely dispelled the Mac Jones media narrative by selecting Trey Lance. But now that the hype has completely cooled off. I'm just concerned. I'm kind of concerned. Again, he's just a raw prospect, and I know the upside is high, but at the NFL level, it's very, very different. It's a different playing field. And I'm just concerned once he steps out on the field and he does bad, that all we're going to hear is that he's going to be he's just an overhyped player that we were all praising him to be. So there's pros and cons to selecting Trey Lance, but hopefully that this gamble pays off. And as for the Niners in the rest of the draft, they addressed their two biggest concerns, which I thought they won at, because they addressed the offensive line and the secondary in this draft. They got a really big guard in the second round, two corners in the much later rounds, and all of them look really good from the highlights that I saw. But I just wish that they drafted at least one receiver. Now I get it. They signed someone in undrafted free agency, but still, I really wish they could have drafted someone instead of signing a multitude of running backs, drafting a multitude of running backs. I mean, it's fine, I guess, but I just wish we prioritize getting more receivers, because we don't know, like, in the consistency of Deebo Samuel. We know how well Brandon Ayuk can do, but we still have Jalen Hurd, and there's still questions about him and his health. So overall, I think the 49ers did pretty good to ensure that there was depth behind their priority positions in the offensive line and corner, and they got the right pick at quarterback and for the future. I just wish they would add more depth to their receivers, because as it stands, it doesn't look that great.